so excited to be sitting with you, Amit, co-founder and CTO of DigitalOwl.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I think to start, can you give us a little bit of an insight into the process of how our AI model actually works, starting just from initial upload of a case?
Sure. So what happened is the end client sending us some records, and that can be everything. It can be an APS, it can be some RX report. We take it all in and we start doing our processing pipeline, which includes things like image processing to clean it up a little bit. We take those PDF of 200 pages and we break it down to logical documents. So say page 1 to 4 is a doctor visit and 3 to 5 is pathology report, or whatever it is. And then from there, we send it to the OCR and the magic starts there, where we do a lot of analysis, both entity recognition analysis, so every medication, every condition, every procedure, everything that can be extracted, we extract. And we do a lot of generative analysis. We create a summary for the document, a summary for the whole case, a summary by topics. And when everything is done, we have basically everything you need to know about the record in our database. And then it's the time that we export it for end users. So traditionally what we'll be doing is the summary. So you get a PDF summary that allow you to take, 500 pages document and understand it within, 2, 3, 5, 10 pages, which was like our current solution we are currently selling.
And I know through some of the feedback we've gotten from customers, there's been a lot of excitement around our recent announcement of some of the products and capabilities we have coming forth. Can you tell us a little bit more about them?
Sure. So the first one is the chat. And the chat is a real paradigm shift in the sense that even now with the summaries, we have an opinion in the way of deciding what information to include, in what order, in what granularity, and it's up to the end user to understand our summary and search for it for what he wants. So even with the summary, the end user needs to do some work. The chat flip it in the sense that the end user can basically ask what he wants and get the answer. So he doesn't need to understand our opinionated summary. If you want to know when something was first diagnosed, you just ask it. If you want to know what kind of medication he takes, you just ask that question. The second product is the workflow. What we found out is that many times the questions repeat themselves. For example, in underwriting, there are a set of questions you need to know for every single case, right? And it would be silly for the person to type those questions over and over again. So this is why we build a product called Workflows. In a workflow, what you have is basically a question. So you decide what questions you want to know. For each question, you put a set of possible answers and an outcome. And that way you can build a decision tree. So you build it once and you can run it for all your cases. And what you basically get is you get all the answers to your questions up to the outcome, which can be, for example, a decision of some chapter in the underwriting manual.
And I've seen firsthand the excitement people have when they first see this product and see what it can do. What are some of the advantages that you see workflows having over some of the more traditional rules engines?
When you think about traditional rule engines, many times they are entity-based, I call it, in a sense that the input is an ICD-10 code or RX norm code. So the first advantages in the workflows, because it's generative-based, it have access to a lot more information. So it's much more powerful in a sense. For example, you can ask what was the reasons for the depression, something there is no code for it. So this is one advantage that it have. The other one, it's very transparent. In rule engine, sometimes you have a rating. It's hard to figure out, like, out of all the different codes and entities, what was the reason for this specific rating. With the workflow, it's very obvious. You have a graph, you can see exactly what answer lead to what outcome. The other advantages, I will say, it's very easy to build and custom and update, because all you need to do is basically write meaningful questions and their outcome. There is no mapping or integration or transformation of information. You don't need to understand how the structural data is stored in one place and how to match it to your rule engine. You basically just need to write meaningful questions and decide what outcome. And we help with it. We provide templates, we provide presets from different vendors. So it's very easy to keep updated and to build new ones. And maybe the last advantage I will mention is there is a built-in guardrail that allow you to control what happened in the workflow. So it's not a free agent that can go everywhere or ask whatever you want. You decide what the questions you're gonna ask, you decide on the outcome from each answer, And in that way, it's really regulated. And that's important when it's come to AI. You want it to be predictable and regulated.
And when we talk about AI, what do you feel sets our AI technology apart, and why was it so important for us to build a proprietary model instead of pulling from a third-party source like OpenAI?
In order to build the product we just mentioned, we had to make sure some capabilities are in place. So we needed to make sure that it's fine-tuned to our domain, right? It's the health, it's the insurance, it's not something that is publicly available. So those off-the-shelf models not doing the best job there. So we need to do the fine-tuning. But more than that, records can be big. So sometimes you have 500 pages of medical record, 5,000, even more. And the off-the-shelf products usually cannot handle that much. They can answer, 2, 3, 5, 10 pages, but then you need to do something else. So we need to solve that problem. And more than that, there are a set of questions in our space that traditional LLM cannot answer. For example, when was something forced diagnosed? If you have 5,000 pages of medical record, traditional LLMs cannot answer it. You need to do something else. If you have a question like how many times a medication was taken, if you have a question like was there a jump in the patient weight, all those kind of questions, you need all the pre-analysis that we do when we process the case. Only using that and the special LLM that we build, you can answer those kind of questions. So for those reasons, we couldn't really use off-the-shelf services. We needed to build our own AI, and so we did in order to do all the products we just discussed.
And when we're building our own AI, I know a big question we always get from clients is around accuracy and how we assess that. So one, I would love for you to talk a little bit about how we do assess accuracy, and two, why a numerical value isn't necessarily always the best representative of accuracy.
So the way we think about accuracy is not about recurrent precision, like how many data points exactly you got. Because you can have a 99% accuracy that is way worse than a 96 because they missed the one key ingredient. The way we think about it is outcome-driven accuracy. What we want to make sure is, does our model come to the same decision or better than what you would have without the model?
Thank you so much again, Amit, for sitting down with us. We're so excited about this new platform, and I really appreciate the kind of peek behind the curtain of some of the new products we'll be offering.
Thank you for having me. High five?
High five.